Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Mr. H on YouTube. This is an overview as requested by some students. It's a combination of both the uh, rise of German militarism as well as the invasion of Poland, which kicks off World War II. We'll talk about the German army and military infrastructure, as well as why the Polish invasion was such an easy invasion for the German army. So let's go ahead and get started with talking a little bit briefly about what's Germany like at this time. Well, at this time, you see that Germany was demilitarized. No army, no navy, no air force. It also had several lands occupied. 1933, Germany elects Adolf Hitler as chancellor, and he vows to remilitarize the German nation by bringing about major changes in the structure of the army, as well as bringing about a huge, massive mobilization of men in violation of the Versailles Treaty. This, of course, is unopposed by the other nations. The Great Depression is on, and they do not have the military strength to fight Germany as they begin to take over and reassemble the army that they lost after World War One. This begins along as the German army moves into places like the Rhineland, which was a major industrial hub of Germany. So this will be very important when it comes to the attacks on other nations because now they have the industrial capacity to really kind of make sure that no one can stop them. Okay. Um, but Hitler is not satisfied with just the Rhineland. As an egomaniac and believer in extreme ultra nationalism, he believes that all lands that are both German and not German belong to him and his empire. So by 1939, you see a massive mobilization of the German army. The one thing that made them so formidable in the early stages of the war was that they were motorized. Okay. Um, for the most part, a lot of nations still relied on foot soldiers as well as cavalry. This would not be the case for Germany, as they would go and continue to use motorized vehicles such as tanks, trucks, planes, motorcycles that would make them very fast, very mobile, and very effective against ground units. By 1938, Germany has taken Austria in what was known as the Anschluss. They look for further expansion and begin encroaching on the borders of Czechoslovakia in an area known as the Sudetenland. The Germans are sending demands to Czechoslovakia for these German speaking areas. They are initially refused, but eventually the Allied powers, France, Britain, agree to Germany's demands, and Czechoslovakia is absorbed into the German Reich. This was known as a time of appeasement. This gave Germany even more time to build up its military. One of the biggest mistakes the Allies made was not challenging Germany. As Germans continued to look for more and more areas of expansion, Czechoslovakia was sacrificed. Uh, as we go into 1939, Hitler's eyes are set on Poland. Hitler sees Poland as a weak power and easily taking for the Germans. Poland was allied with France and Britain, so the understanding was that if France and Britain would side with Poland in any eventual war. However, Germany makes a secret pact with the Soviet Union to divide Eastern Europe between the two of them, as Germany wishes to expand further and further east. This was all temporary alliances for Hitler as he really wished to attack and defeat the Soviet Union. That was his primary goal when it came to his plans. What made the German attack on Poland in 1939 so powerful? It was really their tank corps. And this came about as a result of something called a blitzkrieg, which in German means lightning warfare. The Germans would utilize armored vehicles to attack checkpoints, not to take territory, but to attack checkpoints. A bridge, a railroad, a town, a airport. These areas would be conquered in order to control large amounts. So instead of moving in a slow, wide gap, they would go using air support as their primary mode of function. This, of course, leads more and more to when the Polish were not ready for the Germans, not ready at all. And so within a few weeks, the Polish defenses completely collapsed. The Blitzkrieg was effective because not only did it utilize tanks and planes, but it was a combined attack. You would have tanks roll over the defenses, planes bombard the backup, and then, of course, the Wehrmacht, the German army, coming back and defeating the uh, what was basically the rest. It was the mop-up crew. So instead of like in World War One, where German forces would move slowly as a front, this was designed to completely attack and hinder. Within a month of the fighting in the Polish region, the Polish defenses had completely collapsed and Warsaw was fallen. Another thing that really led to not only really these easy victories, it wasn't just the German army, but it was also geography. Poland is a flat plain. It was very, very uh, um, easy to navigate in terms of a German attack. Um, this leads us to some, maybe sometimes there's a false sentiment that Germany was invincible. They really weren't, but they were taking out the really easy targets in the early parts of the war. By 1941, once they start fighting real adversaries like the Soviet Union and Great Britain, the war turns on them as they fight, as they continue to fight massive scale. But when it comes to German engineering, new planes, new tanks, new gun manufacturing was a vital component in their easy victory over Poland in 1939. Okay. Uh, it's important for us to note that, though, that this was just a temporary beginning as Germany would suffer from its lack of allies. So, what do you think as we talk more about German engineering and uh, the beginnings of World War II? What made Germany so important? What made Germany so effective? Uh, Comment below with any questions or comments that you have. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.